I filed for divorce. I moved our money to my wallet. I'm starting over in Miami. Don't call me. My name is Richard Gold, 52. And I was looking at my phone in the kitchen of a hotel in Milan, a little after 2 in the morning, on a Thursday. My wife, Jessica, 38 years old, was supposed to be on day 4 of a girls' trip in Miami. The text came with a screenshot. A little over $2 million moved out of our joint account into a digital wallet in her name, and a new loan taken against our house. I set the phone down and finished my coffee. Almost 20 years of marriage, reduced to one line and a screenshot. For months there had been signs, weekend getaways that stretched longer, new clothes she never wore around me, calls that went quiet the moment I stepped into a room. One night, from my home office, I heard a podcast drifting from the living room. Live your best life because men are trash, and the volume dropped when my chair creaked. I noticed it all. I said nothing. I opened a private email she didn't even know existed. Security alerts were waiting, attempts to reset passwords on accounts she had never seen. She was thorough. I typed one word, backnoted, turned the screen face down, and breathed. I called my younger brother, Daniel. Remember the plan from my bachelor party? I remember. We're doing this. We are. I hung up and looked at the photo on the counter, the only picture in the apartment that still had both of us in it. I should have noticed that too. I was in Milan to finalize the sale of a minority stake in a European shipping company for just over $10 million. It was one of many long-term investments. I disliked liquidating it, but it served the plan. The buyer's board would record the vote later that morning. I finished the checklist. Then I made 3 calls. The bank's regional head to report fraud. My lawyer with a short email and screenshots. My forensic accountant to begin pulling statements. I asked the county to place a hold on any property records in my name, no transfers, without me present, signed in ink. I opened a case file and saved what mattered. The message, the alerts, the account page, the kitchen calendar photo with a neat Miami block and hearts. An hour later, my phone lit with her name. I declined. More calls followed. A text arrived. What did you do? The money's gone and my cards don't work. I didn't answer. I poured another cup and kept working. I logged the time, saved the latest screenshots, and moved to the next step. By first light, the outline was clear. Transfers, out just before midnight in Miami, a new loan against the house signed from the same city within the hour. My phone bill showed late-night group chats earlier in the week. The kitchen calendar at home Miami with heart set in the back of my mind. I did not fly home. I stayed where I could move things. The bank's regional head called as soon as they opened at 6 a.m. sharp. The joint account and linked cards were frozen. Any action on the house loan would require me present to sign. I instructed a hold on everything tied to my name. I forwarded the text, the screenshot, and a short timeline to my attorney with a single line. Emergency filings. Just the orders. He called back within minutes. Evan Harrow, managing partner. He had reassigned the team and cleared calendars. Years earlier, when the firm was thin, I invested $750,000 and opened doors. I became a silent majority owner. The name on the door is Gold and Harrow. 2 managing partners run it. Loyalty was earned. Capacity followed. I never expected my wife to face the firm I helped build. My forensic accountant sent a brief update. He was pulling the wallet path, the device records, and the travel trail and would deliver a clean timeline by midday. I kept adding items to a tab labeled alibi, a lobby clock photo after the signing, the hotel breakfast receipt, the window view. At dawn, place matters. When stories bend, an unknown number, tried again, declined. A follow-up arrived. Be an adult and pick up. We can sort this out. I saved it to the file. Near mid-morning, Evan called again. We can get the orders today, he said. I pulled your prenuptial agreement. There is a clause about taking money without written consent. We'll mark it and leave it quiet for now. Good. The property clerk emailed to confirm the hold on deeds. No transfer under my name without me present to sign. That is how you keep records from moving while you are on another continent. I built the working day in a simple sequence. Bank at the top, property beneath it. Counsel and accountant side by side. Each call generated a record. Each record went into the file. By late morning in Milan, I had what I needed to move the next piece. A request to the court to freeze the digital wallet and the receiving account, supported by exhibits that showed who, where, and when. I sent the filings. The clerk stamped receipt and placed us on the emergency calendar. My work is ordered. When a system tilts, I name the pieces and move them in sequence. I drew the map as institutions, not opponents. Bank, county, recorder, title office, wallet provider, exchange, court. Each has one lever that only works when pulled in the right order. Use the wrong one first, and someone has grounds to stall. You're cooked. The risk wasn't only money. It was a narrative forming before documents arrived. A lender could react badly if pressed too early. A clerk could record haste. A judge could hear emotion instead of evidence. So I wrote 4 headings across a blank page and put one rule beneath each. Legal, filings with exhibits only, no adjectives. Financial, freezes and holds first. No demands that look like a strike. Operational, keep my calendar steady. No sudden moves that imply strain. Reputation. No public statements. All calls through counsel. I set communications on rails. My assistant logged voicemails and forwarded the audio to counsel. Unknown numbers went unanswered. Passwords rotated. Old device sharing shut off. I asked our security vendor to preserve the home camera logs through the end of the month. Evidence only helps if it survives. Preservation letters went out next single pages. Plain as receipts to the phone carrier, the wallet provider, the exchange, the rental host on Collins Avenue, and the rideshare company. Keep records for the window around the trip, times, places, account names, device notes. I did not need them today. I would need them when memory turned convenient. Counsel set a clean wall, separate team, separate inbox, documented assignments. I back the firm. I don't run it. The file must read like any other client's intake. Filings, servicio, the dates. Not my name. Carry the weight. I stayed in Milan. Flying home would waste a day and look like theater. The work I came to do stayed on schedule. Everything else bent toward recovery. I set 1 hour for the next step and let the rest line up behind it. 9 in the morning, Miami time. A deputy at the door with papers. Title counter notified before they lift the shutters. Recorder on watch for my name. Bank counsel ready to confirm in-person signatures for anything touching the house. Wallet provider and exchange queued too. Act when the court order reaches their desks. This required filings in order. Nothing more. I put the list where I could reach it without thinking. Clean steps keep stories small. It includes every red flag that I noticed or eventually regretted ignoring. The first slip was her maiden name, Jessica Whitman, printed on a shipping labellin, an Amazon package. Spare siped, followed auto. To our shared email under the same name because her calendar remembered it. A receipt under the sink listed a new post office box, 1 town over. Signed Jessica Whitman in block letters. 2. Saturdays before Miami. The kitchen calendar showed a small square that said notary, written with a pen she used for nothing else. The printer queue held a half-printed legal form in the middle of the night header rendered. Job canceled. The drawer with our passports sat cracked one evening and squared the next. Papers in an order I don't use. The spare key ring felt lighter, then heavier with a bright, unscuffed blank. Deliveries started landing at the side door instead of the front. Jessica moved money in quiet, even amounts. Clean, round transfers left the joint operating account at steady intervals, never large enough to trigger a call, regular enough to build a path. Card charges drifted out of groceries and into beauty, wellness, then travel. Uber receipts logged quick hops across town on nights she said she came home early. Pickups clustered within a block of our house, as if she walked first and called the car afterward. She added a privacy screen to her phone, so no one could read it unless they were directly in front of it. A second banking app appeared. Later, the phone records showed usage that matched the week she packed for Miami. I did not need to watch a device. The records were enough. Any one line could be nothing. Together they read like rehearsal. A second, name warmed up in ordinary places, so it wouldn't look new on documents that matter. Tools laid out in advance: a post office box, a notary, a template, a key. Money taught to leave in small, regular amounts. Routes tested in short rides. Put the entries onto a single page in order, with dates or near dates in the margin. The name on labels. The spa confirmations. The post office box. The notary note. The printer header at night. The passport drawer. The new key. Side door deliveries. The privacy screen. The second bank app. The phone usage. Round number transfers. Card category. Drift. Short ride receipts. No drama. Just evidence of a clear shift in behavior. Profexists, where people leave it without thinking. Miami would supply what mattered. Hotel bookings under the maiden name. Flight confirmations from New York to Miami. A short-term rental on Collins Avenue. Uber ride logs between Brickell and South Beach. A rooftop photo time-stamped and geotagged in her cloud. A signature on the loan against my house, tied to a hotel network at night. Even worse, the purchase of Plan B from a 24-hour pharmacy. I had called these things life and kept moving because work demanded it. The page on my desk corrected that. Next, I would open the folder that turns patterns into evidence. I opened a new folder and fed it one source at a time. First, the cloud. Years ago, we put purchases and travel confirmations on a shared family account because it kept receipts in one place. It still did. The archive downloaded and unfolded into dates and attachments. The Urban bill sat on top under Whitman, Jessica, with a NYC address and a check-in that matched the night the transfers moved. The bill listed doinit number, a resort fee, a late-night bar charge, and the guest network noted on the header. The contact name on the reservation used a maiden name. The confirmation email matched it. Airline messages placed her on a flight from New York to Miami 3 days earlier. The times matched the usage logs already in the file. The boarding pass image carried her traveler profile. The name field again read Jessica Whitman. Short-term rental messages showed a booking on Collins Avenue. The host sent entry instructions and a note about the keypad not working well in humidity. The check-in photo she sent taken from inside the doorway caught the corner of a framed print that later appeared in the listing photos for the same unit. The rental receipts listed partial refunds for unused nights. Ride receipts filled the next tab. Short hops to Brickell, South Beach, back again, then to the airport. Pickup pins clustered inside a few blocks. The timestamps were late. The thread contained the driver's name and last initially enough for counsel to request records. If needed, her photo roll completed the first pass, a rooftop image with water behind her. The file name carried the original capture date, and the geotag pointed to the beach side of the causeway. Another image showed 2 highball glasses on a table with a small metal number. The reflection on the glass caught a sliver of her wrist and the edge of a bracelet I had given her the year before. None of it argued. All of it pointed. I saved each item into subfolders, labeled travel, lodging, rides, images. File names started with plain words and spelled out dates. Every drop added weight to the same side of the scale. Place and time in Miami, under the name she had warmed up for months. The loan against the house needed a different door. My attorney's team pulled the document packet from the lender and sent the signature page and the activity log. The signature block read, Jessica Whitman. The log showed the document opened and signed from a device on a guest network at a Miami Beach hotel late at night. The lender's notice to me had been routed to an email rule that moved automated messages to a low priority folder. I kept the rule. I kept the notice. One more thread sat in the cloud archive and did not belong there if the story were clean. A power of attorney template with my name typed into the grantor line and her maiden name typed into the agent line. The attached messages included a listing agreement for my city apartment at a panic price and a handful of photos taken by a real estate assistant, none of whom had met me. I forwarded the chain to counsel and saved the attachments under a tab labeled Listings. The wallet path showed its first shape in a spreadsheet my accountant sent after lunch. Transfers left our joint account, hit a new digital wallet, then split into a shell company's account tied to the companion I had not named yet. Each hop carried a date and a receiving label. I did not guess at identities. I saved the memo and highlighted the path so a judge could follow it without help. My core holdings stayed where they were designed to stay. Trusts and layered entities do not answer to midnight plans. What sat exposed, on purpose, was small by comparison. The operating cash people see, and a loan that touches a deed. She hit the part within reach. The rest did not move. Project Ledger was open. One source had given me a map. One firm held the levers. One morning waited on a clock. The file was ready. By midday, Evan's team sent a short stack that read clean in one pass. My signed declaration on top. Behind it, the proof in simple order, the hotel bill under the maiden name, flight confirmations, the Collins Avenue rental, thread, ride receipts, a rooftop photo with captured data, and the lender's activity log showing a signature from a hotel network at night. The filings matched the paper. Not moved. Freeze the digital wallet and the receiving account. Bar any deed or lien in my name unless I am present to sign. Void the apartment listing for defective authority. Reverse the loan against the house pending identity checks. Issue record requests to the rental platform, the hotel, and the rideshare company. One sentence of context. Then exhibits. The prenuptial agreement sat in the middle. A single highlighted clause. Take money without written consent or by deception, and you waive support. Pay fees and return what you bought. We didn't argue it. We placed it. Evan called. Sign and return the service instruction. We're setting this for early morning in Miami. Done. Preservation replies landed in a row. The hotel would hold guest network logs. The rental platform would keep messages, entry photos, and codes. The rideshare company would retain trip data for the listed dates. I forwarded the confirmations and filed them. 2 notices went out on letterhead. The wallet provider's risk office received a short timeline with 2 exhibits and a heads up that a freeze order was coming. The exchange received a courtesy copy of the motion and a request to flag the account. The title office was told that any filing touching my name required me there. Signing in person. Service was staged like a queue. A deputy at 9 in the morning on a weekday. Packets printed and scanned. A 1-page summary for the knock at the door. The brokerage behind the apartment listing received a stop notice and the rule. Everyone forgets no one sells what they don't own. I added 2 anchors to remove speculation before anyone tried it. A simple appendix titled Location with my passport, stamps and hotel receipts in Milan, and a call log export from my carrier. Place and time. On paper. Near evening in Milan. Evan sent confirmation. The clerk had accepted the filings and put them on the emergency calendar. If permitted, we'll ask for orders on submission. Fine. The documents would do the work. Last piece. An internet fraud report drafted with dates, amounts, and account names written out in words. I saved it for the same morning the orders would land. Then it would be forwarded to the right desk as routing, not favor. Filings in. Service. Set. Records held. Tomorrow is another day. The confirmations arrived in sequence. The hotel's tech lead wrote first. Guests join the network with a last name and room number. Their log showed a phone under Whitman late at night, mapped to the room on Jessica's bill. Device label, join time, room 3 fields, enough to hold still. Rentals followed. They preserved the message thread and the host's doorway photos with original capture data. One line mattered. Bookings linked to the identity card on file. The stored card carried her maiden name and a New York address. The bank exchange's risk office read our packet and placed a preliminary hold. Their device print showed a login from Miami inside our window. The receiving address belonged to a verified account. When a signed order lands, a hold becomes a lock, and a lock becomes a return. Delta Airlines records desk confirmed a check-in scan under the maiden name matched to the seat and departure already in email. Uber operations acknowledged preservation and added the driver's anonymized identifier with start and stop blocks for the nights in question. That is enough when someone later says they were somewhere else. Evans' litigators adjusted the motions by a hair and left them alone. The lender's activity log already tied the house loan signature to a hotel network at night. Now the hotel's record tied a device to that room. The rental platform bound the maiden name to an identity card. The airline confirmed the gate. The exchange stood ready for the order. For systems that do not talk to each other, describing the same path, I read the stack without rushing. Where she was, which name she used, which doors opened, which networks she touched, where the money paused. None of it asked for my opinion. Daniel texted one word. Ready? I put the phone away. The morning schedule was set at the title office. Shutters rose. Evans' courier set down a signed order. Nothing recorded. Against my name, unless I am present to sign. The clerk keyed a note, pulled a red band across the file, and placed it in the recording queue used by all clerks. The exchange opened their inbox after dawn. Our motion was on top. Their risk desk applied a temporary stop, pending the judge's signature. The wallet provider mirrored it. At the courthouse, the emergency calendar went live. Evans stood outside chambers with my declaration and exhibits. The judge read, signed on submission, and then rotored the packet. 9 in the morning on Collins Avenue. A suitcase stood by a door. A deputy and a court officer checked the number on the frame and knocked until the door opened. Mrs. Gold, the deputy said, you're being served. Her hand remained on the suitcase. With what? Orders of the court? He passed the stack across. The court officer wrote the time. Jessica confirmed her identity, my last name, not the one. On the hotel bill, while she turned pages, the exchange sent counsel a one-line note. Account restricted. Funds tied to the path will be held for return when the clerk's copy arrives. The wallet provider followed. Transfers halted. The title clerk replied in 2 sentences. The band is active. Any attempt will be refused unless I appear and sign. In person, she stopped at the prenuptial clause. In plain words, take money without written approval or by deception, and support is waived. Fees shift, and anything bought is treated as mine and returned. Her hands shook. The court officer took the acknowledgement page. Contact information is inside, the deputy said. They stepped away. I filed the service proof and marked the entry once. Evans' paralegal opened a recorded call to the federal desk we had queued. I submitted the internet fraud report dates and amounts written in words. The agent read it back. Do you want us to pursue wire fraud? Not today. Understood. The rental host messaged minutes later. The door camera captured service. The entry code is disabled. The platform mirrored the lock. The hotel confirmed their logs were preserved for the week. The airline records desk verified a check-in under the maiden name. Each confirmation went into the file. Then came the calls and texts. Call me. This is a mistake. You can't leave me here. You're ruining my life. I saved the screens without reply. By late morning, the exchange scheduled a return credit to my account once the clerk's copy reached their desk. The bank's regional head called. The joint account stays frozen. The loan against the house is reversing pending identity checks. We'll fault the lender's authentication in writing, he said. You'll have the letter before evening. Opposing counsel filed for temporary support and access to funds. Evan answered with 2 lines and 1 exhibit, the prenuptial clause, and asked the court to hear it with the existing orders. The clerk set it for the next day and noted that all current orders remain in place. Word traveled. Friends sent questions. Someone from the trip asked a group chat for a spare room. Saved to the case file. I walked once around the block in Milan, then returned to the desk. I checked off each confirmation and reviewed the page in order. Near noon in Miami, her hotel card failed at checkout. The desk sent a courtesy note. The account on file declined. Charges will escalate if not resolved. The exchange showed a scheduled credit once the court's copy cleared. The credit was set to post on the same timeline as the withdrawals. The credit posted on schedule. The exchange sent a notice on letterhead. Funds returned. The bank followed with a letter voiding the loan against the house and apologizing for failed identity checks. The page carried a deep, embossed seal. I filed both at the front of the binder. Evan forwarded a settlement proposal. We met in a conference room. Evan set terms on the table. She returned what the orders had frozen. She waived support under the prenuptial clause. She withdrew filings that reached past what she could see. Each kept personal items and clothes. Fees would be handled in a quiet judgment if she broke any term. In return, I gave 1 sentence in writing, no criminal requests from me if she complied. The district attorney could keep their file and move without me if needed later. She initialed each page with a borrowed pen. The paralegal checked the signature blocks. A runner took the signed original to be stamped by the clerk and returned with the embossed seal and stamp. Fallout moved quietly. A mutual acquaintance sent a screenshot from a travel chat asking if any couch was free for a while. The rental platform flagged the host's thread as resolved and removed her access to the code. A collections notice went to the Miami hotel and then to her inbox. I mailed back 3 items that would read as petty if I kept them. A bracelet I had bought on a whim, a pair of sunglasses she always misplaced, and an old key with blue nail polish on the head. The courier's receipt went into the file. 2 days later, Daniel placed a thin folder on my kitchen island. The assignments he has held for years remained in force. The call right sat on top. We signed them before the wedding, notarized and filed. Ordinary paperwork, useful when needed. The Milan sale cleared. The board recorded the vote, and the wire arrived with a note from their counsel. I do not prefer selling a position early. This sale met a need. I sent the closing statement to the file and set it aside. Evan called once more. Minute order posted. He said, enforcement complete. If she keeps to the settlement, this is finished. If she doesn't, we already have the tools. I exported Project Ledger to an external drive, verified the copy, and removed the folder from my laptop. The drive went into a fireproof box beside my father's watch, back in its first felt case. Both items are documented. Documentation preserves ownership. We left the dock on a weekday afternoon. I brought a small bag and left the phone off. Near the harbor mouth, I stood at the rail and watched the buoys move with the current. I slept without waking to check a clock. In the morning, I made coffee on the galley stove and sat on the deck with a notebook. I wrote 1 dated line and closed the cover. I don't retaliate. I defend myself with process. Information does the talking. That was enough.